Okay, so I want to tell a little story about this thing that happened one time when I was driving a taxi for Orange and White. Alright, so it's summer 2006. I'm driving on the Nightline. It's like a Monday or a Tuesday night. Kind of slow. I mean, even for a Monday or Tuesday, I was only making maybe 110, $115, which was below average for me. And it's like maybe 5:15, 5:30 in the morning. My shift is over. I'm ready to go home. And right when I got the mic in my hand, ready to tell my dispatcher Buster that I'm leaving, some drunk ass Spanish guy, Mexican or something, stumbles up to my cab, practically runs into the side of the car. It's like, "Hey man, no tiene mono, taxi man." I'm thinking like, I'm about to tell this guy to get the fuck out of my face. Like, no, go ask somebody else. I'm going home. And he tells me somehow, through alcohol and pretty broken English, he wants to go to Oyster Bay. I'm like, well, I'm not making shit. It's a $36 ride. Whatever. I'll take one more. So I tell Buster I'm going to Oyster Bay. And all out of town trips, they're supposed to pay you up front. So you don't drive all the way to wherever and then they stiff you. So I tell the guy that. He's like, whatever. Gives me the money before we take off. And I said $36, right? This guy meant to give me $40, but he was so incredibly wasted. Instead of giving me two $20 bills, this jackass gives me 200s instead. So now I got $200 in my hand, and that's an $164 tip. That's more money in one shot than I made the entire night. Yeah. And I'm expecting him to immediately realize what he did, realize his mistake and take it back and give me two 20s. But again, this guy's totally shit-faced. And then I realize after a minute, he has no idea how much he gave me. So I discreetly put it in my pocket and keep driving. And a number of times throughout the ride, I'm like, nah, I'm imagining things. He really gave me two 20s. So I kind of pull it out of my pocket a little bit and look at it, expecting it to turn into $20 bills. Nope, still 200s. Wow. And again, no matter how many times I expected him to remember and take it back, he never did. So we go all the way to Oyster Bay, and this idiot barely speaks any English, non-English speaking motherfucker, and he's so drunk he can't even tell me where he's going. And I made several attempts to get it out of him. Like, hey, where you going?
Hey man, no, fucking 13 McDonald pendejo, esto, man, Holmes.
Where are you going? And it was just nothing but drunk, barely understandable English. Finally, I just stopped the cab on some random street and like told him to get the fuck out, get the fuck out of the car. And he like stumbles out of the car and walks down the street. I'm like, whatever, Oyster Bay's a really small town. He can walk to wherever he's going. And yeah, he probably realized it later when he was out of $200. And he's like,
Fucking pendejo, Holmes. Where's my money, man? Man.
but yeah. Ended up with an $164 tip, which is by far the biggest I ever got. Not even close. That's probably the biggest most cab drivers will ever get. That's just ridiculous. You're only going to get that by accident. Yeah. So that was my little story about the time I was ready to go home at 5:30 a.m. Wasn't making any money. So I decided to take this drunk Spanish guy to Oyster Bay. And this stupid jackass was so shit-faced. Instead of giving me $40 for a $36 ride, he gave me 200. And I ended up making like $275 on a Tuesday night. What a guy. What a fucking guy.